Hello everyone, my name is Remy.
And my name is Tristan.
And you're listening to the Weekly Outdoors. Welcome everyone, and welcome to the 11th episode of the first series of the Weekly Outdoors podcast.
Got 11 already?
Yep,
Oh my god.
it is. So Tristan, good to have you back again.
Yeah.
How has your week been?
It has been a busy week.
Well,
It has always been a busy week, so
yeah, why not? Yeah.
What else is new?
So what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Oh my god, that's a lot of stuff I've been up to. Well, we have friends of ours. They are traveling like 2 times a year to Japan.
Nice.
Because they don't have really
Anything
countries
else to
there.
do?
No,
Oh.
it's like just go to Japan. We don't have the money, so yeah, do it.
They like it, they love it, they do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah,
basically.
that's good.
So they're doing that, and they came by and showed us what they're gonna do, and I'm just being like, oh my god, I hate your people. I want to do that too. So that's one thing, and the other thing is I might be able to go and do. It's next year, so it's a summer school.
All right. You're a little bit old for a summer school, aren't you?
I know,
Okay.
but it's cool.
What?
It's at a university.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably going to the Oxford University for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And have some school there and learn everything about business management and all that type of stuff. So that's,
Nice.
I'm like, it's Oxford. It's like,
Yeah, well, that's just the Oxford sign passing by every morning.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And I've been a lot of outdoor business. So doing a lot of bicycling, hiking. I didn't tell you, I didn't invite you, so I'm very sorry for that, my friend.
What?
Now that I'm standing, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to invite him. I went rock climbing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it was a scary experience, but fun.
Okay.
The first 2 routes I did I was trembling all over the place. I was just like, oh my god.
What type of rock climbing? As in on natural rock?
No,
formations?
indoor and outdoor, but the
And then top rope.
Yeah, top
Okay,
rope.
yeah, good.
But yeah, there was it's been a year, I think, since the last time I went climbing. So I was just like, oh, let's do it, see what happens. I did it really easy. I started with a level 3. And
Well, that's good to begin. You don't want to begin in a 6 or something. I mean, just
yeah, but level 3 was just like I was halfway there and I was just trembling all over the place, and I was just like,
you're too excited or what?
No,
Oh,
I was scared as shit.
Oh, you were scared. Okay.
The dude standing downstairs holding me, he was just like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. You're trembling. You're not having a seizure or something? I'm like, no, I'm scared. And then I was at the top. He's like, okay, let go. And I was like,
Maybe.
now I know how people feel. So I was just like, one hand. Okay. Pinky. Okay, go. And I was like, oh. And then the moment I came down, I was just like, can I do it again? He's like, okay, just go. And it's like 5 times up and down, level 3. And I was just like, okay, I'm into it. I'm fun. So I went up to a 5C. That was the last one I did. That was pretty, it was, the thing is with rock climbing is that if you're in a 3, maybe a 4, it's doable.
Yeah.
The moment that you're in the 5s, it comes back to technique, to how you stand, how you turn into
What
different
kind of shoes you wear?
what kind of shoes I have. My climbing shoes, so but yeah, it was pretty difficult. I hurt myself a couple times just by doing the wrong turn, standing wrongly, and
Right.
hurting myself. So
Not falling, but just straining
yeah.
yourself. Okay.
Yeah, just you have some grips that are, you have to use them as a hook, and I just squeeze them, didn't use them as a hook, or stand it wrongly, not on the tiptoe of my feet, but more on my heel side, all that kind of stuff, slipping away and then scratching myself. So yeah, it was a fun experience to do once more. I'm not gonna do it more often,
Okay.
because the fallback on my ankle was pretty big.
Yeah, because it's still difficult to use your
Yep.
ankles freely.
Yeah, so that that was a pity, but yeah, if I can do it like once a month, maybe 2-3 climbs, I'm a happy camper.
Or we can do the bouldering because you can take more breaks in between.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
they're
and
shorter.
bouldering is like, if you do it rightly, you're pretty fast.
Well, it's a practice even.
that is. And but I know with bouldering, I'm always going for the difficult ones that you hang upside down and stuff. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
but fun. It's
so
like
nice,
bouldering podcast. Let's do this.
Now I have to do the podcast while climbing, of course. Otherwise, there's no climbing
that's
podcast.
Also fun.
Yeah,
that's also fun. Yeah. So that's pretty much been my week, and of course a lot of work, and more work. But yeah, that's my jam. So
that's
we gotta
how
do
we
it.
roll.
Yeah, but I've seen you have been quite busy, my friend, with all the outdoor activities, fightings, and
Again, yeah. Well, not much. It was outdoor, of course, but it was another festival. I went to Winschoten in Groningen this time. It's also in the Netherlands. It's up north, and it's beautiful again because the whole environment there. It's a nice piece of nature. The festival was given in in a park, with a big lake in the middle, or a big pond actually, because a lake would be bigger, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think you could call it a lake.
Yeah, Americans are like, that's not a lake.
Yeah, that's not a lake.
That's a pond.
That's a puddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so there was a nice piece of water, and
that's weird. A piece of water.
A piece of water.
Can I have a piece of water? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And the festival was set up very nicely because it was set up around the lake. So the entrance, you just have to choose go left or right, and then you can just walk all the way around, and then you're certain of haven't seen everything, and then you can go around again or sit somewhere. Or there were a few little side paths here and there. There was the Viking village was a little bit bigger, so it was a little you call it detour. And the steampunk at a little village was quite nice. And there was the action field where the horses would demonstrate, and a few fights went on, and like the archer, the bow and arrow, the archers could shoot their arrows. And
okay, cool.
Yeah, so it was a nice setup. I haven't been to this festival before, so this was my first time at the medieval Winschoten.
Yeah.
And it was quite nice.
It
was a nice balance between the reenactors and the salespeople, because a lot of festivals are more into sales and food and music, which is awesome.
I love the last part.
Yeah, yeah. But this festival is very nicely balanced. That there are more reenactors in comparison to the salespeople, and it's not a big festival because. I've talked about Dorn last time, where about 2,000 reenactors were at the same time.
Oh, that was
from all different types of periods.
The fighting tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, with all. No, that was Imaginarium you were thinking about with the full contact nights. Yeah.
You're doing so much stuff. I cannot keep up with you. It's difficult.
So there was a big event with 2,000 reenactors, and there was like all the periods with the military and even the hippies were there. We went from prehistoric to the Renaissance and all types of periods, and a lot of Vikings, of course. So that was very big, but there was more like it was like a living museum. It was a different mood, and because it was so big, and it's a different mood there at the festival. And this Winschoten was a lot smaller compared to the amount of people having stalls and reenacting. So it was very nice to see so many reenactors compared to the people standing on the festival. It sort of made it more like a small community feeling.
Yeah.
And there were two stages, one main stage, one smaller stage with music, and was just, going on and off with live music from stage to stage, and people were just going back and forth from stage to stage, of course, to see all the live music.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a nice festival, and I helped out as an acquaintance of mine with his stall, selling some stuff. So there was, I had something to do as well.
Yeah. Once again, is there something you cannot do? Because seriously, I hear you do stuff, and I'm like, oh, he can do that too. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because some people know that I can sell anything to anyone.
Yeah, I think you can
Just
even
convince
sell
them
air.
that they probably need this, and it's better that
Look
they
at this big
they
of bag
take
of
it.
air.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You need to have it.
But the other side, I'm too honest to sell something they don't want to have or they don't need to have. So I could sell them something, but I wouldn't sell them just something.
Yeah.
But I can figure out if someone is interested in something. So that was, we were selling knives and swords in this stall, which is pretty nice.
Just-
So I was there with the Sword King. And
Oh my! Wait. He actually his nickname is the Sword
yeah,
King.
he's Sword King. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
Does he have a
Yeah.
throne made of swords?
No, he doesn't. But he does have a crown. Sometimes he puts it on because it's funny.
And oh, I love this. I really love this man. I'm
quite
the Sword
funny.
King. Okay, awesome.
He will be in Historic Zoetermeer as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Oh, can't wait to
I
meet him.
will. I will show it. To
All
you.
hail the king.
Yeah, so I helped him out selling some small scissor knives and some nice combat knives, a few historical swords, some decorative swords. You know, you have to represent every fantasy memorabilia stuff.
Yeah,
things.
good that you just said.
Well, it's
We have to sell everything that sells to any fantasy.
yeah, the decorative stuff.
Memorabilia.
It's it's an aluminium sword and it's just for on the wall. And
that's
most
cool.
of the times, the design is just horrible.
Yeah.
It's like the dragon tattoo stuff, thingies,
Oh.
and I know I see people fancying this type of decoration, but it's so not. It's not even fantasy. It's just some random design. Yeah. And so we also had an aluminium Excalibur replica. You know.
Like as in the Arthur sword. Ooh.
So if you like the movie and the the whole scene about that, then I would I can understand hanging an Excalibur on your wall, which just for decoration.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I do. I also have these kind of weapons that I'm like, if I ever could buy a replica of it, I would be like, shut up and take my money. I want it.
Of course, there's another salesman. He's not on every festival. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not, and he just has the replicas from like all the movies and games, and they're just for decoration.
Yeah, but
And people quickly mistake that that if their burglar comes in, you don't even want to use a sword. You can better use a just a dough roller or something, or
just a baseball bat or something.
no. Just something that's not considered a weapon.
Oh,
It's way better for your defense than using a weapon. Also, because using a weapon requires you being able to yield the weapon instead of just swinging it.
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous. A lot of people carrying knives damage themselves more than they would ever damage someone else.
Especially
So,
the guys with the butterfly knives doing this, and like, chop! Oh, my finger cut off.
which is not allowed in the Netherlands.
No.
They ban those things.
Well, and they should.
Well, yeah. These were the fidget spinners of our times.
True. So but there's this sword, and shout out to anybody out there. If you can make this sword, if you can make a replica, if you can find it, please.
Are you asking me?
No, I know this is the difficultest. I think this is the most difficult sword ever to find as a replica because it's hard to find because it's specific.
What type?
It's
of
called
weapon?
the Sword of Omen.
Sounds familiar, but it's from a.
It's from a
series?
cartoon series.
Okay.
And the cartoon series is called Thundercats.
All right.
And it's
Sounds less familiar now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, oh my god, I'm nerding out now. So sorry
it's
for that
fine.
one. It started as a knife, and it's the sword of Lionel. He's the leader of the Thundercats.
Yeah.
And every time when he's in trouble, he used the sword to call out to his people to help him and give him power. So he puts the sword in front of him, in front of his face, and his eyes are like. What I think you called on top of between the sword and the handle.
I don't know in English.
Oh.
The I don't know.
Yeah, you know the thing. It goes up and he puts his eyes between, and in the middle of the sword is a round symbol of the Thundercats, which gives lights into the air and like, oh my god, it's like a bat signal.
All right.
And starts a knife, and then he has to yell. And now I'm really nerding out. He says thunder, 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 and then he says Thundercats, ha! And he holds his sword up high. And then it's the ultimate sword. I'm like, and the other sword, I think more people have this one because there are more people who like this, is the sword of He-Man.
Right, I know He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Power of Grayskull, I am the power.
Yeah, with the nice big.
So
Yeah.
those
yeah.
are two swords. I'm like, if I could has them, I think my girlfriend, my fiance, I have to say,
Yeah, we know this.
yeah, she will not be happy because I would literally put down. I don't care how much it costs. I would buy it. If I see the sword, I'm like, give it. I
Yeah.
want to have it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
not a guilty pleasure of this young man.
All right. Yeah. I like them. You know, from this point on, I rather buy practical weapons instead of decorative weapons.
Yeah, but you're the
Well, yeah, because otherwise I'm just all my shelves will be filling up with swords I can't really use or use, and I don't have many fantasy movies or series or anything like that. I am very big of a fan of. So
well, that's I think that's not weird, but that's
interesting.
yeah, because you are the type that goes to all the fancy events, fancy
Yep.
fairs, and you're not really into fancy movies.
Nope.
That's
But also, I mean, a lot of
That-
people read books and watch movies. I don't read books and don't watch a lot of movies. I only watch like the
people are now like, what the fuck does he does in his spare time? And like,
follow my Instagram. You'll
Yeah.
see what I'll do. Yeah, no, it's difficult because as a young kid, I already started participating in theater, and in theater, I loved the whole like the role playing, the story, and the
Yeah.
characters, and the acting, and later on I started directing, and then I started writing, and it's for my brain, it's so fantastic to think of a story
yeah,
and to make up the characters and to interlace all the details and to round up all the logical parts of the realm, to make it complete.
oh my god, you're like Tolkien.
Yeah, if I read a book, I'll just dissipate into something else, and I'll finish the book, and then I thought of a different play on my own without knowing what
Yeah.
was reading. Even when I read it out loud, I can still think of something else which is more interesting to me than reading the book.
Yeah.
I did finish a few books for school, of course. I always found the smallest books.
I thought it was just the instruction manual. My grade was like, I finished the book.
No, I didn't cheat by reading the backside or,
No.
or downloading something, which we could in that time, or buy something from someone else for your lunch or something. I really did read the books, but it was for a reason that I had
Yeah.
to read these books.
Yeah.
And also when I read a technical piece or find something, like when I write coding, I'll find a page where it's listed, but first I'll scan the page to see if the thing I need will be there. And then I start reading from the top
Ah,
to
okay.
see what we're up to. So it's just effectiveness
Yeah.
over fun. Reading is
Yeah.
not fun for me. Because when I started reading, a lot of information comes in which, creates
Yeah.
new thoughts and can make me think of a completely different world and set me off a different
I
course.
see the front of you. You're just reading a book like, ooh, fun idea.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's definitely when I'm reading a book. I also like sitting in a chair reading a book, with a nice view beside you. But I'll never be in that seat reading that book with a nice scenery next
No?
to me. No, because I can't sit still with a book, reading it, sitting next to a
Yeah,
nice
well, I have
scenery.
that. I really can enjoy sitting under a tree near the water on a sunny day with a book.
Sounds amazing.
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm seriously. I'm reading the book until it's dawn, until it's dark
So-
outside.
In that case, I would be 5 meters away from you, drawing or painting the same scenery with you in there.
I see it
Because
in
it's a
front of me.
nice, because it's a nice
I
piece.
see the front of it. You and I are going on the trail or something. I'm sitting reading, and you just in back like, I'm doing stuff. I'm doing stuff. I'm doing stuff.
No, I will be. I like drawing or painting or
Yeah.
making photos of details and things. But sitting and reading is not my thing. But that's not the thing. I'm not into fantasy because it's just like Mario. Because I'd never played Mario games. I played different games in my time.
Yeah.
It's not my
Jam.
childhood.
Yeah.
It's not my background.
Yeah.
And for fantasy, I do like fantasy, but I also like my own fantasy in combining all the other parts. So it's just look at steampunk.
Yeah.
What is steampunk?
Weird.
Well, yeah, it's
Sorry.
people who fancy black cloth
Yeah.
and copper and gears.
Yeah.
And every combination with, it's the it would be the current day without electricity, so everything will be steam powered. That's if I got the
Yeah.
basics right.
If not, don't shoot us.
No, just comment if I'm wrong. Just explain it much better. Send out a link which explains it much better. But it's, steampunk is a it's a created world. It's a direction of fantasy.
Yeah.
And it's a possible one, but people make them more fantasies because they make backpacks controlled on steam, turning and moving and stuff. But it's not functional. There's no reason to have this backpack doing the things that it does.
But it's just, it looks awesome.
It looks awesome. But when I'm creating my fantasy, when I'm creating my outfit, creating my tools, my belt, my small pouches and stuff, it's for a functional reason. I made a knapsack. I made a backpack
Yeah.
out of an old leather jacket because I wanted a backpack to store a few stuff that I would buy.
Yeah.
Or a small bottle of drink or something, or a snack, or
Yeah, you're making it that if it were possible to time travel, you would fit in there, and all the things you made is useful.
possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
But most of the reenactors don't see me as a reenactor because I'm not a reenactor in a specific time period.
You're just a crazy person walking around like, oh my god.
But I think it's funny because when someone plays a Viking,
Yeah.
they're way past the Iron Age. The Iron Age is you got the Stone Age and then the Iron Age. Iron Age is the first periods in which they found copper and zinc and
So that's
all the
after
metals.
the caveman.
Yeah. So you have first they had just wood and stone, and then they found out the metals, and they made better tools so they could make better clothing and so on and so on. And of course the fire was there as well. Otherwise we would have existed here. But all the things from the Stone Age would still apply today.
Yeah.
But we don't know them and we don't use them, but we could use them. So if you're talking about life hacks today, just look at the history and see what people used back then.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's a real life hack, not just using toothpaste to clean up your headlights from the car, but like real usable things,
Like I have the stone here, I can use it for...
Well, if you want to cut something, then if you know what type of stone to use to make a stone knife, just quick and easy, then you could cut something just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Instead of I don't have scissors, I don't have a knife, I'm done. The way of making fire, of course, that's an easy one.
Of course.
But also how to clean water if you need to, or which plants can you eat and which can't you eat or shouldn't you eat. Those are life hacks. Because if you are hiking and you're thirsty, what would you do?
Pooh.
It's easy. Grab your water bottle.
Yeah, but I don't know if the water, what there is clean, is had bacteria in it. So I'm probably going to have to cook the water to kill the bacteria, and then I'm going to drink it.
Okay, but back then they didn't know about bacteria. They knew about illness.
Yeah, so I know it.
So what was their life hack?
Yeah, on that,
to determine if something was safe or not.
Yeah.
Or to take away the risks. Talking about safety, taking away risks. In taking precautions in treating the water before drinking.
Yeah, and also back then there wasn't the environment was different, so the water wasn't polluted or so.
Probably, but then again, if it's stained water, you don't want to drink it.
No, and also a drinking place is also a dangerous place because you're sitting there on the water and predators are.
There can be predators, of course, but then again, you can also eat something.
That's true.
Because roots contain proteins, but also moist and. You can eat fruit if you can find something, or try to get moist from leaves or something.
I heard that you even can eat the bark from a tree bark. They're
Possibly.
different types. You can eat that.
I won't try it from every tree, but there should be trees probably which you can safely eat.
Well, the funny thing is, you said about the Vikings. my fiance, she is at the moment really
A Viking?
No. No. She acts like one, but she isn't one. No, so she's like doing the whole family tree thingy search, and I was just like, okay, I'll join. I'll see. And we found out that I actually descended from a Viking tribe.
Right. Yeah, you told last
Yeah.
time. I
So
believe. Yeah.
I'm just like, this is awesome. I have Viking blood in my veins. That explains why I'm a big man. I have a beard and stuff. But I'm really curious for that way of living that they had back there. The Vikings, everybody says they're just dumb brute forces who plunder and stuff. But I'm like, I think they're pretty smart guys, because if you see what they found about how they live, how they built the houses, how they looked, they were pretty clever guys. And I mean, back then they didn't have the good hammers or drills or everything. They just want to build a fort. Okay, sure, build it.
Oh yeah. They did so many things.
So that's
in the community.
Yeah.
That's very strong. Yeah.
That's something I would, if it ever were possible during one of these events you go to, is also the construction part to relive it to like
It's
okay,
amazing seeing all their
we're gonna
construction
build-
and
we're gonna
tents
build
and
a house.
chairs.
a house, Viking style, everything on it, handmade. Want to join us? Sure, I'll join. I'll help building and stuff. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll help. That fascinates me, because I mean, we are at a time that everything is easy. We have all the stuff. We can make all the stuff, and back then they didn't have stuff, but they made humongous forts and everything out of wood.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In that case, two things changed. It's the urban life, so it's the city life. But the main thing is money.
True.
So when they invented money, when started using money and quit trading, then
Yeah.
everything changed, because something had value in a different way. So you can hire someone to do stuff for you, and that's where things started to shift. Because normally you had the wise guy in the village, who was the oldest guy.
Yeah.
And you had the leader, who was the big hunter, and when he died, his son took over, probably something like that.
Yeah.
You had someone who was good in crafting clothing, but everyone knew a little bit, but he knew best. So
Yeah.
when he died, someone else, stepped up and was probably the best at that
Yeah.
point. So that was the whole basic construction before there was money. Because when money got involved, of course you had stuff like kings and people already taking over the ownership of people, but the money really made this possible.
Yeah.
And still, because now you have rich and poor, but they're still people.
True. And oh my god, we're starting getting philosophical
Again, yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing is about money is you give me, I go to the store and I say, I want that equipment. Okay, here it is. And in return for that, we want a pile of paper with things on it. Here you go. And I have now this awesome equipment, and you just have paper.
Yeah.
I'm like, I still can't wrap my head around, when did somebody invent it? It's like, oh, that should be the smart idea. Let's just give people paper with a number on it and some drawings and be like, here you go.
It started differently, because they began with coins.
Yeah, gold coins.
Gold, but also copper and silver. And the coins were their own value in weight. So the gold coin was really the value of the gold. And there were a lot of cheaters who would nip a little bit from a coin and took all the little bits and tried to create new coins. So forgery, of course, in that time. So they had to weigh stuff again and again. And well, it's a whole long story. So the coins were in the beginning were their own value.
Yeah.
Still, there were like tradable values because how do you say how much this ham would be in gold? I don't know. They thought of something. But so it was a little bit of trading still.
Yeah.
I think it's still today because someone says this is 10 euros or $15, then that's what it is probably. But the banks really screwed up. And they still do today. And I'm not going to tell the whole story, but the funny thing is that in the beginning, they would store the values. So you could bring your gold if you had a lot of gold, which you're not spending today, and want to keep it safe because someone else could just come in and take your gold, or you have to drag it around. It's quite heavy. So you bring your gold to the bank, and the bank would store your gold and even maybe insure it for you.
Yeah.
So, if they were robbed, then they will in some way get it back from a different, I don't know, long story. But the funny thing was that the banks would give out certificates, as in the big certificates, like, okay, this guy has so many gold in the bank.
Yeah, today they have the stock brokings paper.
No, it's just a certificate.
Okay.
So you bring 50 gold coins, and you get a certificate of 50 gold coins.
Okay.
So you could go to the butcher, but you cannot pay with gold coins because they're in the bank. You cannot pay with 50 gold coins certificate because it's too big.
Yeah.
So what they would do, people were asking to get smaller certificates. So you want a certificate per gold coin or something, or per you want like so many silver certificates for 1 gold coin. So you can you don't have to drag the money around. You can give the certificate to the butcher. The butcher can go to the bank and pick up the coin.
And that's how paper money started.
And that's how paper money started. So it was. It still is today. It's like a certificate of value. You can pick up. So you cannot pick up the gold anymore.
No.
You cannot go to the bank today and say, I want my gold.
Yeah, but you have
Please.
Seriously, have you ever considered a career in history teaching? Because every time I'm here, you just give me history lessons. I'm like, oh my God.
That I'm learning from so many different. I don't read books in fantasy, but I do hear a lot.
But
the story is not finished.
Sorry.
Because the banks screwed up eventually. So they were storing the gold.
Yeah.
So you would give 50 gold coins, and I will bring 50 gold coins. You will both get certificates.
Yeah.
And the bank would have 100 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But we are not picking up the gold pieces because we were spending our certificates.
Yeah.
And we were receiving certificates maybe because you would be maybe a builder, and I would be a butcher or something, and we were trading certificates all day long. So the bank would just have 100 gold coins.
Yeah.
So someone else walks in the bank and say, can you lend me gold coins?
Yeah, and they have it, so
they have 100 gold coins.
Yeah.
They're not theirs, but there's a small possibility that we will pick up both stacks of gold coins in one day.
Yeah.
So they would lend out a certificate for another 50 gold coins to the other bloke to have a house built by you, probably. And they had it covered. Because if this guy would give you the certificate for 50 gold coins, you can trade in the gold coins for the certificate. Because there are 100 gold coins. And the chance, again, that we will pick up our own gold coins is very small.
Yeah.
But also, they, of course, put an interest in it. So the guy lending the 50 gold coins would have to bring back more than the 50 gold coins.
Yes, because they want to have the insurance that
he
they
had
have
to
it
pay
back.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how the bank started making money.
And that's how they screwed up.
Yeah, because they will never get more gold. Because
No.
there was just 100 gold coins as, a insurance. If everybody wants to pick up their gold, there's no way. And that's the problem today, because no one can pick up the gold because there's no gold representing the money at this point.
No.
They created value by lending people something.
I'm like just sitting here like a little child listening to grandpa tell stories. I'm just like,
But
please do tell me
it's
more.
Funny. If you look at a modern banking, as in go to any website that gets your project to collect money. I'm not calling any of these sites out because there are a lot of different ways to set up this thing.
There are a lot of people in the crowd, and you need funding.
yeah. Okay, like crowdfunding. If you look at crowdfunding, and I'm not saying that crowdfunding is one of them, but having money can create money. That's what the banks did back then.
Yeah.
So they had 100 gold coins, and they could, lend it in some way, so they get paid to lend people money and create money from money because they had, insurance of the real money. And that's what crowdfunding could do, or crowdfunding websites could do, that they are collecting money for your project. And even if your project fails, they are collecting your money. And when your project fails, it gets sent back, which is fine. If it's successful, it gets transferred.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, they have money.
Money.
And not only from your project, but from a lot of projects. And that's how PayPal worked pretty good. Because PayPal was just an electronic wallet. And, we know who it is. You know who it is?
Oh my God. I'm not supposed to make...
You know who made Tesla?
Nikola.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla.
No, not that one.
No. Oh my God, what's his name again? The dude who even has now the car.
The
Elon Musk.
Hyperloop. Yeah, Elon Musk, that's the one. Yeah.
Mr. Musk.
Elon Musk started PayPal. And it's the same principle, the same possible principle, let's say it that way, that it's an electronic wallet. So what you would do is you give money to PayPal, and PayPal will transfer it to any company you want, as in a safe transfer, just like a VPN. But it's electronic money, and again, because it's just a certificate. It's a representation of a value, which is not even real. But it doesn't matter because it's a tradable value for us. Because it's funny if you send a euro to America and trade it into a dollar and then later on trade it back, it's more or less. So it's not even
that's
real.
always weird for me.
Yeah, don't think about it because it's very complicated. Unless you're in stock market, you should know.
Yeah.
Where was I? Elon Musk. So the PayPal is the same. He's collecting money from different sources and sending it off to other sources.
Yeah.
But never is there a moment that he will be sending more than he would be receiving.
Yeah.
There is, theoretically, it's possible because you can, in these days, spend money from your PayPal before it receives it. But then again, it's insured and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was just you had to recharge your PayPal and then spend it. It's what the bank did back then. So we both give him money and they will give it at any point we need it, but they would also give it to other people at any point they need it. It's interesting and but also frightening.
And welcome to the weekly history lesson.
We'll talk about many things. So there we go.
This like really diverse this show because we're it's 11th episode. We have talked about really outdoor stuff.
Yeah,
we have talked about politics, about environment. Now we talk about history.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is a podcast that's so for my opinion. I mean, I'm in it, so I'm going to promote this stuff. But
we are so diverse.
We are so diverse. So. It's never a dull moment here at the studio and talking about hiking and climbing and canoeing and
we can talk about hiking every week, but I have been hiking in the past week in Winschoten because I had blisters on my right foot, and
you went hiking because
I was walking the whole day. But I was wearing boots that fit my outfit, but I didn't fit my feet, so I just walked in blisters, which is fine. It's just the way the day goes. They pop and then it's done, and then it's just you just walk through the pain and stuff. But I stayed there for the night, and early in the morning when it was a little bit dark, I went out to go to the Dixie. Yay for Dixie! And I didn't wear my glasses. I didn't have my contacts in, so it was dark and I couldn't see that good. So I was just walking along on my bare feet towards the toilets. And one of the tents had their scaffolding thrown down, and there were sticks in the ground to tie the ropes on. I don't know how it's called. It's herring. Yeah, it's a herring.
Yeah, herring.
And I tried to kick it out of the ground, something like that. And I tore my feet up, and then I still had to walk to the toilets, taking the risk of infection, of course. Yay! And then I had to walk back to the tent and clean my... No, it's not swollen even. No. So, I had to clean my feet. So, you always have to be careful when walking outside. I love walking on my bare feet. So, the second day, I took off my boots and I put on a different outfit to sell the knives and swords. And I walked on my bare feet all day.
So, you have 2 feet of exploding blisters. 1 foot is cut open of a herring in the ground. And you're just like... Okay, I'm just gonna walk bare feet.
Yeah, it's
infection.
Nice.
No way.
Oh no! If you clean it out when it's open, or when a wound is bleeding, it's cleaning out itself. And as long as nothing punctures your skin, then you're probably alright. And in this case, it was more like a big swipe. There were like 4 bits of skin a little bit loose. It wasn't. Well, I wasn't impelled by the
If somebody found
stake
you
or
dead in a
something.
ditch, it would be like, it's the herring. He killed him. It's him. He
Yeah,
knows it.
the next morning I went by. I said, "Your herring just hurt my feet," and they said, "Did he apologize?" I said, "No. Oh, we'll discipline
bastard.
him." Yeah, that's funny because it's not their fault, but it was
Yeah.
They tried to put some rope. No, never mind. Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah, you're always on an adventure when you go to these events. We had the bee you almost swallow and almost killed you.
Oh
Now
yeah, I
you
got
have-
stung by a bee.
Now you got the herring that,
yeah.
that almost took off your foot. I'm like,
Yeah, that's a bit exaggerated, but yeah, yeah. I also was pairing with the Sword King in the arena. We were using small shields and
I'm
axes.
serious. This is
to
if
fight.
you don't hear the whole story, sounds like an Indiana Jones. You're teaching history, then on adventure, you're with the Sword King. I'm like, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Sword King. I'm like, what? I'm there.
Yeah, well, you have to do something in your life.
Do you have a
and-
whip?
No, I don't have a whip.
You go out to these events. What would you suggest for all the people that are interested in?
Trying it out
Yeah, well, what
after these stories.
Yeah, what do you say? Like, okay, if you want to go do one of these story events or fancy fairs, so go to this event and just be like this, dress like this, act. What are the advices?
If you're interested in any of these events, I mean, there are a lot of countries having these events. Because the past weekend there was also Castle Fest in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go to because I was in Winschoten. But otherwise, I would have gone to Germany to see the event there. And I think people should just, if you want to try out or just see how it is, you don't have
Yeah.
to go up dressed. You can just go as a visitor and have a taste of the whole event. Even last week, I took a friend I know from music,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw him at Castle Fest, and he was just in his jeans, and he was like, "This is interesting. I want to do this more often." I said, "Okay, next week we're going to Friesland, and if you want to join, then come along. And if you want to find your outfit, you can do it there because there
Yeah.
are sales tents all over the place, and just see what you like, try it on." Because you can buy anything online,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more fun to just go on from event to
Yeah.
event and collect your stuff and create your own outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So he did. So he went along. He borrowed one of my swords, so he had something on his belt, and he had his own cloak already. So he just bought a nice shirt and a vest, and said, "Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
nice." So just go if you want to try out one of these events.
And what are like the well, you said you're talking about there's a big event, it was a small event. What in the meaning of these kind of events is a big event? I mean, people are thinking big events, Mysteryland, Pink Pop, Lowlands. Should you think of that in that kind of scale, like thousands of people, or is it more like hundreds of people?
Well, a big event like a Castle Fest has like over 10,000 people.
No.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that's the visitors. Yeah,
Okay.
and
So-
that's I believe that's over 2 and 3 days.
okay.
But a lot of people stay, so yeah, they're
so,
good
but
too.
that is a big event.
That's a pretty big event.
And
yeah.
and the one you were last time.
Oh, there are so many skills. I mean, there's also small gatherings where just like a few hundred people visit, but then also, there are less salespeople. There
Mhm.
are most of the times they're not even reenactors or something. It's
Okay.
just like an indoor event.
Yeah.
Just you can buy some stuff, and there's some demonstrations and there's music, but there are so many sorts. And I just know the ones in the Netherlands. And last year I visited more than 10. Just
Yeah.
I went to everything I could have gone to, and this year I'm trying to reach the same amount.
Yeah.
I think I'll shoot under a little bit, but maybe next year.
But have you ever been to the ones in like the UK or anything?
Not yet. No.
The British and the Scottish people and the
No.
Irish, they're
Because
like,
I'm still want to go to like the Comic Cons and all those types of gatherings.
now you're talking to in my
Yep.
field. Now
And
I'm
2
like-
weeks ago there was YockCon. That's the first convention for the Yockscast. Is one of the YouTube
Mhm.
channels I follow, and that would have been nice to go there as well. But you
Yeah.
can't do everything.
And we also have, if you don't notice, we have also got Abu Nikon, and
Abu
that
Nikon.
that is the con for everybody who's into Japanese anime.
Huh.
So anime and manga, the books, anime, the series.
Mhm.
It's a whole event around that.
Ah.
So if you like Japanese pop culture, drunks.
That's one to go to.
Yeah, and everybody's also there cosplaying and
Of course.
heaps, and it's just not just only ninjas. I mean, if you watch anime, the dudes who have swords, they don't have a sword. It's like half a building.
Big of steel.
It's more like a building. You're like,
Right,
how
yeah.
can you swing this? We have it.
Yeah.
And people are walking around with it on their back like,
Just carrying it all day.
I have a sword that's bigger than me.
It's funny. A lot of them make them from foam,
Mm-hmm.
which is wise, and there are still people making them from metal, which is hard.
Yeah.
Wearing this around all day, but you know, it's adorable to
No,
make
you're so
something. No,
cute.
to make something from metal.
Yeah.
Because then it's real, but it's unusable in real life if you have something that big. Yeah. So it's nice. If
Yeah.
you want to go to an event, I just say go to an event.
Yeah.
So next year I'm gonna take you to one of the medieval ones.
Yeah.
And you're taking me to one of the comic ones.
Yay!
And we'll
November.
see. November, Rain?
November we have a Comic-Con in Utrecht. Yeah, in Utrecht.
Cool. Okay. So that's this year.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's the winter edition.
I'll put it in my agenda.
And but that I think that is a coming together of the fancies that you go to, the fancy fairs that
In
you
my
go
mind?
to. Yeah. Oh my god! And the comic and movie world that I'm into, it combines it because you actually have their demonstration of fighting, and the people are reenacting fights from the movies they love,
Oh, right. Yeah.
dressed as the characters from these movies.
I can Naruto run.
Okay,
It's one of the memes I know. Sorry.
just do it. Just do it.
Well, Tristan, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today.
No.
And that's also all we have time for this series.
Yeah.
Because we're ending the series with this episode. And for everybody listening to the episode, like on the day or on the week itself,
Yeah.
we will be back in, what was it, August? Beginning of August? No, it's October. Beginning of October. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Beginning of October.
Beginning of October. Yeah.
So the first week of October, we'll be back with a fresh episode.
And what episode is going to be?
I don't know.
That's the fun part.
It's the first of the second series.
Yeah, but then we have like more than a month of talking what we did and what happened.
Oh
and
my god. So everybody listening to us on the podcast, you can find us on YouTube at this point. They can listen to all the first episodes, the first 10. And if you want to follow us, just follow us.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Do anything you want. Ring that bell. I don't care. If you like this, you know how to follow. If you want to follow Tristan on Instagram, you can go to Comic Beardman.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can go to GreenEther and follow me on hashtag I'm here now. So thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
Tristan, have a good holiday.
Yeah, you too.
In those 3 weeks, I think we're just working our asses
Yeah,
off.
I know.
But we'll be back in August.
Yeah.
In October. Sorry.
October.
Yeah, I'll learn it.
So no
And
September, October.
Thank you for listening and hope to have you back next time.
Yes.